Hi, good evening, everyone. I know it's been a while since I've done one of those videos, vlogs, just to talk about whatever it's in my mind. So today I'm going to talk about the vice presidential debate that took place the other day. So there's been a lot of there's been a lot of comments on Facebook and social media. I did not actually watch the debate, I did not, but since I was going through a lot of comments on social medias, and so I said, you know what, let me actually watch this debate. So most of the comments are, people actually complaining, this is a waste of my data, this is a waste of my time, this is a waste of. So I wanted to, okay, let me get myself, and actually see the debate and see what's bad about. I saw a little bit clips about a lot of, people summarizing the whole debate, posting what's actually in their interest and what's not in their interest. People caught, getting a few of them. So, okay, I actually watched the debate today. It's about 2 hours and about 30 something minutes in total between commercials and everything. So, my overall conclusion about the debate, yes, it's a disappointment. Uh, I'm not gonna call it a waste of time because I wouldn't say that. The reason why I wouldn't call it a waste of time is that at least now you know what's on the table. A lot of us or a lot of you guys know what's on the table, know what to avoid and what to look up to. So in this case, you already know what to avoid. So you already know, okay, I don't need to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this, or this thing is not even worth it. So at least you are aware, you have all the information in front of you to make that informed decision. If you so, I did put some notes down, in 2 hours and 30, I think 38 minutes of debate among five political representative of five political party vying for the vice president. So this are all the things I jotted down. To be honest, forget about this large part of it. This is about I thought it was one of the things I was taking down when I was listening to bits and bits about the summary about mostly Peter Obi. Somebody posted, so that's why I said, this is not making any sense. I really need to watch the whole full debate for me to actually understand, because a lot of things weren't making sense. So what I'm going to say, so it's actually from here down here. You see, this place I actually crossed this line. Okay, from here down to this part. So you can see it's like a rough, job and all that. Why? Because that's what the debate actually, you know, that's what the debate actually provided, not a lot. So the debate didn't provide a lot. So I'm not going to waste your time. This is going to take me I just want to reduce this to about 10, to below 10 minutes. So I'm not going to waste a lot of your time. So, okay, what I'm going to say before I start this, just explain a little bit about the candidates. There are five of them. Showaway and other people do not, where, his vice president candidates were omitted. So the moderator tried to justify that, saying it was due to online poll, and which his explanation just did not make any sense. Yeah, right? It did not make any sense. So whatever their reasons are wasn't given there. So I wasn't convinced that was the reason why. So it just did not make any sense. Why the other political party and the other candidates were omitted in this debate. So it just doesn't make so. That's for a start, a failure. Okay, so the people that actually participated are five political party candidate for the vice president, the ACP, and which is Ganiu Galadima. Okay, so the ANN, which is Khadijat Abdullahi Iya, and APC Yemi Oshibanjo, PDP Peter Obi, YPP Umar Gatso. So these are the five people that actually participated in the vice presidential debate the other day. So from their introduction, I'm just going to be quick. From their introduction, so what was my observation on the for the ACPN, which is Ganiyu Galadima? I'm not actually sure what he was talking about. I'm not sure if he was actually introducing himself. Anyway, before I go down this, it's not first of all, it's not easy. It's not easy to make a speech in front of a whole, so many people, right? It's not an easy thing. Not to talk about, staying there knowing that about 100 and about 80, more than 100 million people are paying attention, listening to you. I want to know what you're going to say. It's not an easy thing. I have to admit. So a lot of them fumbled out of that, not having a lot of confidence to express themselves properly. But if you look past that, their stumbleness, which is due to fear and not confidence. Some of them, they're trying to make sense. They try to. So I'm not judging them about, for that lack of confidence, which anybody might have that fear as well. So once that fear comes into you, you're not able to express yourself properly. And it's also easy if you've already, if you've been in politics, if you've already been, or you've held a political position. So it's easier for you. You've been dealing with the press, you've been dealing with public eye for a long time. So it's easier for you to stand there on that podium and express yourself properly. So I have to say, Peter Obi and Osibanjo, they did express themselves, more clearly in most of the questions. Why? Because they've had experience in the past, and they've been in government, so they don't have that fear dealing with. So they are able to, pass their message, even they're good or bad, or their no message across clearly. So, but the other candidates, they did stumble a bit due to the fear and due to that stage fright and exactly. So I just want to make that clear. So from the introduction, the ACP and Ganiyu Galadima. So I'm not sure what he was. I'm not sure if he was introducing himself, or I'm not sure if what he was talking about. So his opening statement or introduction was just I don't know. It was nowhere. He was all over the place. It was nowhere. So the AN and Khadija Abdullahi Iya. So yeah, she did introduce herself. She did introduce herself. She, like I said, you could still tell she was a bit shaky, but she tried to introduce herself to the people who don't know her, which I thought was really nice. Just introduce yourself so people, so they know who you are, where you're coming from. So the APC, all right, Yemi Osibanjo, also did introduction, which I wasn't sure what he was introducing himself for because he's already known. He's a known guy. He's the vice president of Nigeria. So I was expecting him to introduce what he's going to talk about, what they're going to talk about. So that's what I was expecting from him. So I wasn't expecting an introduction because he's already a known person. Okay. So PDP, Peter Obi, started with numbers. Peter Obi started with numbers immediately. All right. I don't need any introduction from Peter Obi because he's known as well. So, just to be clear, there are two candidate people actually paying more attention to is the APC and PDP, the Yomi Osibanjo and Peter Obi. Those are the people. Those are the two candidate people are paying more attention to. From the crowd, you could hear those are the people that the candidate people are more listening to, or what people are listening more to. Sorry. So Peter Obi went straight ahead. He went straight to the main course. He started with numbers, completely throwing numbers all over the place. Right. I'm not sure why. So I'm not sure how to feel about that. So I was expecting him to be very articulate about what he wants to talk about, to let us know what his agenda or what's his topic of that day or what he's going to be tackling. So, but he just started throwing them numbers around immediately all over the place. Okay. I said, okay, fine. If that's how he wants to start, if that's what he wants to do, fine. He'll be able to back that up. So, the YPP, okay, she also introduced herself. She did introduce herself, which I thought was normal as well. Like I said, there are a lot of people don't know who these other candidates are, so it's very nice for them to introduce themselves. Okay, so now let's go straight to on when they started asking them the questions. So I'm going to start from the economy, okay, which is I think was the second thing straight away they asked. So the economy, so they started with the YPP, right? The YPP, the Umagatsu. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure if she's there to represent the president or she's there to fight for the position of vice president. She was selling the president. She wasn't selling herself. So she did not talk much about what she's going to do. So the good thing was the moderator, he tried to define the position of the vice president. So they did try to define the position of the vice president among all of them themselves. So for them to at least know what they are fighting for, which I thought was good. But the Umar Gatso, she wasn't actually, giving you a reason why she wants to be there. She's giving you the reason why you need to vote for the president. What she's going to do. She was selling the president, or she was selling her presidential candidate. She wasn't selling herself, which I thought was, I don't know, I'm not sure how about that was going to go down. So that's what she did. So for PDP, he continued around. He continued with the number throwing. So Peter Obi was throwing numbers all over the place. He was throwing numbers all over the place, and he was using some terminologies as well that a lot of average Nigerians don't care about. So a good example of that is, if I'm a medical doctor and I'm going to speak with my patient, I'm going to speak with my patient in a terminology my patient will understand. If I'm speaking with a medical doctor, I'm definitely going to speak in the medical vocabulary. So that's what I'm going to use. However, Peter Obi, I was expecting him more to understand that he's speaking to Nigerian. He's speaking to the average man. So Mr. Peter Obi needed to be more clear in the sense that he needed to explain what he's talking about. He needed to use words that the average guy will understand. He needed to use, terminology the average Nigerians will understand. So that's what I was expecting from him. So he kept on using a lot of abbreviations to throw numbers around, which wasn't making a lot of sense. Which wasn't making a lot of sense. To him, he probably knows what he's talking about, but to the Nigerians he's talking about, they are not very. I'm not sure if they're convinced, to take those points. Anyway, the APC talked about what. So the APC actually talked about what they discovered, right? He talked about what they discovered in the economy when they got there. So, but I think this is almost 4 years. So that's what he shouldn't be talking about what they've discovered. He should be talking about what they are doing. Okay. So he talked about what they discovered, not what they are doing. So, which I thought was, to me, I'm not sure. So as soon as he went there, I knew, okay, this guy is going to stick on the blame game. So that's what he just gave me that impression first that he's going to be dealing on the blame game, which it's not for me. I don't think I thought that was a waste of time. That's a waste of time. We know Nigeria is messed up. We know the economy is messed up. We knew that from the onset before they came into power. So I was expecting him to talk about exactly what they are doing, what they are going to do, or what they have achieved. So that was my expectation of him. But no, it wasn't that. Okay, then the ACPN guy, which is Ganiyu. He went again. He went around. He was all over the place. Every time he trying to make a little bit of sense, he derails again. So I don't know. He was a bit of a, I don't know. I felt sorry for him because he probably know what he wants to talk about, but he just doesn't know how to put it together. It's probably, maybe if he's in a different setting where there are a few other people, he probably might be more relaxed to articulate what he wants to talk about. So, but in this setting, he wasn't actually, I don't know. I felt sorry for him. Like I said, sometimes he's trying to make sense, I'm trying to look past those, that fear. You could just tell. I'm trying to look past it to try and understand what he's talking about. Sometimes I'm trying to pick it up. He goes out of the, it derails again and it becomes a bit torturing. Anyway, so they went into subsidy. Okay, so now all this other subject they did discuss about. Okay, if I did not talk about any political party under the subject, it's because they did not make any sense. Okay, they did not make any sense. So just to reduce this time, I promised I was going to make this thing short, but now it's going to 40 minutes because, so yes. Anyway, so if I don't talk about any political party under any topic, it's just because they did not make sense. So they went into subsidy. Okay, so out of everyone, okay, they asked them a question about subsidy. What are they going to do about subsidy? So the only person that made sense in the subsidy subject was Peter Obi, PDP. Yes, he was the only one that made sense. He was the only one that could articulate properly the message he was trying to pass. Even though sometimes he was all over the place as well, but you cannot expect that from a politician, okay? Because Peter Obi is a politician, so definitely he's going to be, that thing about politics is going to come out when he's trying to explain something. Either he's trying to exaggerate, overstretch it, or, just fly about the questions. So that's what they will do. So Peter Obi, but however, overall, he was the only person on that subsidy that made a lot of sense. Okay. Then the YPP lady, what's her name again? Sorry, Umagatso. Umagatsu was straightway honest. She was honest when they asked her about subsidy. She said she didn't know a lot about it. She just did not know a lot about it. But however, she was straightforward and was very honest about it, which I thought that was very good of her. There's no point wasting our time or wasting our own time, or energy, so that she needs to concentrate on what she knows. So she was very honest about it. Why the other candidates, they were all over the place. It just did not make sense about subsidy. So they have, I was more disappointed in Osibanjo because I expected him to be, I know it's when you're already in power, defending your position, it's easier and it's difficult. It's difficult if you fumbled, and it's easier if you're proud of what you've done. So that's where it's like a two-sharp edged sword for Osibanjo to deal with in this situation. I understand because they will attack him on his, on what he has done and what he has not done. So it's easier. But when you've not held a political position before, it's also easier for you. So I can understand Osibanjo sometimes, but he wasn't. How am I gonna say? He wasn't forthcoming. He wasn't actually defending his position properly. He was more or less, speaking like a new candidate. So using the blame game, which I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that from him. Okay, when it went to GDP, sorry, nobody made sense. I thought 5 of them, no one made sense in the GDP. No one made sense. Peter Obi went to his playbook, he threw numbers around, talked about China, talked about everything, but it wasn't making any sense. I was like, okay, we all know Nigeria is messed up. So, but what are you going to do about it? So nobody was able to articulate what they were going to do about it. The 5 of them, none, 0. Okay, so now the next thing they talked about again was the continental free trade, the African free trade zone. So out of all of them, APC made sense. Chibanjo made sense, right? He was able to articulate his point properly. The reason why the Nigerians have not signed it, and he gave the reason why, which I can't understand him. So I have to give it to him. He made sense in that aspect about it. The ACPN guy was very clear. What's his name again? So I need to just to remember his name. Galadima. Galadima made sense. Like I said, sometimes it's difficult to listen to him because, like I said, he's all over the place because he's still, the fear is still there when he's trying to, articulate his points. But he made sense. If you're trying to look past that fear and look past that fumbling, he made sense. Okay, so the ANN, what's her name again? Khadija Abdullahi. She also made sense. She was very, clear about what she wants. When they ask her that question, why Nigerians shouldn't sign that. So, the YPP, I wasn't really sure what she was talking about there. What her position was. I'm not sure. Yeah, she said yes, it's good that Nigeria have not signed it or should not sign it, but she wasn't very clear why Nigeria should not sign. So Peter Obi did not make sense. It was all over the place again, showing the same thing, numbers. It was all over the place. Peter Obi did not make sense, so that's why I'm putting him in there. Okay, so they talked about refineries. Nobody made sense in a refinery. Nobody made sense in a refinery. No one. So the aspect I was looking, I was expecting them to talk about more, which is aviation. They didn't ask all of them, but the few they did ask, which I think they asked, they asked Khadija as well, Abdullahi. They asked about aviation. She did not make any sense. She talked about, she went just different on a different subject. So she didn't talk about aviation. She wasn't able to articulate anything about aviation. Aviation, which should be something that is very, very important, right? And I was expecting Osibanjo and Peter Obi and the other candidates, to come into that aviation subject, to talk about it, but none did. They went away. So Aviation, nothing was talked about. Refinery, no one made sense about it. So the ICT, which is the technology aspect of it, uh, like I said, sorry, nobody made sense either as well. They were all over the place. They were like fumbling around the subject, the topic, or what would I say? They were fumbling about the whole place, and no, nobody made sense out of all of them. No one, zero. So, in the power aspect as well, you know, all these years that that we see that the main problem Nigerian is having is the power sector. Okay, the power sector. So out of the all people that kind of a little bit impressed me between the power sector and the Ajakuta Steel subject was ACP and YPP. Okay, so the ACPN, sorry, the ACPN, which is Ganiyu and Umar. Okay, so Ganiyu did talk about something economy. No, sorry, Ganiyu did talk about something. Okay, I'm not gonna say he impressed me. He did not actually impress me. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. I mean, sometimes you forget about you forget about exactly what you're talking about as well. Anyway, so what I was going to say about Ganiyu, he did not actually impress me. The only thing he said, which was I thought was funny, he said there's a phrase he used just to pass his points about. Right, you could tell he kind of got stuck. Right, he kind of got stuck. Then just to get out of that hiccup, will I say? He used a very funny phrase. He said, "The economic something of the nation." I think that's what he said. I mean, you could just tell the laughter out of the whole crowd. I mean, from the background, the crowd, but they all cracked themselves too. And the YPP candidate also, she's also said something really I thought was very funny. So she got into that stumbling block as well, like in this is that dead zone. She has no idea how to get out of it. So she said something like, blah 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 blah. Local interested people. I don't know what that meant. What do I mean by local interested people? So yeah. So in the power sector, so all these years, Nigeria has been suffering from the power sector. You would have thought that these candidates will be able to articulate a very reasonable point. Even though if their point is not making a lot of sense, but they will be able to articulate something under the power sec on that the sector. But none. Zero. None made sense. None made any sense. Okay, so now they now went into doing business in Nigeria. Okay. Uh I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's the same thing. Peter Obi, you know, plenty talk, plenty talk, plenty talk, but no substance. The same thing with the APC. Plenty talk, plenty talk, plenty talk, no substance. Oshibanjo. They were all over the place. They weren't making any sense. They weren't making any sense. None of them was making any sense. To be honest, none. In doing business in Nigeria, none was making any sense. So Peter Obi went back to numbers, which is like I said, I think is his I don't know what I think is like his joker. He gets the number and throws numbers around. But what's behind that is it doesn't actually, or he does not actually tell you exactly what he wants to do. He just goes around numbers. So, which is kind of gets a bit tiring when you listen to numbers all the time. It's like, so doing business in Nigeria, they failed in that aspect as well. None at all. So talking about foreign policy, okay, the Ganiyu, the ACP and candidate Ganiyu, he was very clear about his foreign policy. You might agree with him or you might not agree with him, but he was very clear about it. Okay. Uh, what's her name? Uma as well, the YPP candidate. She went back to her playbook again. She sold her presidential candidate instead of selling herself. So that was like, okay, I'm not sure. So PDP, Peter Obi, made no sense in foreign policy. Completely zero. He was all over the place. No sense. Went back to his number throwing. APC, plenty talk, no substance. Plenty talk, no substance. Nothing. So now for their closing statement. So this is where you expect them to actually sell, in a nutshell, what they want, why they want you to vote for them. Sell themselves so you can vote for them. So they had, I think, about a minute or so to close their statement. Okay. So Ganiu Galadima, the ACPN candidate, okay, he did not sell himself well. Sorry, he did not sell himself well. Nothing. The ANN, which is Khadija Abdullahi. Okay, she sold herself well. Reason why she did was because she wrote down her closing statement, which I thought was wise for her. She wrote it down. She stumbled about towards the end of it, but she sold herself very well. You might like her, you might not like her, but she sold herself very well. Like I said, towards the end, she stumbled again. Okay, which I can understand. Professor Osibanjo, selling himself, no, he went to blame game. The first statement he made was a blame game. So the every other thing that followed it was just, because he went into blaming game. I expected him to sell himself, to sell their project, to sell what they are going to do, but no, he did not. So he went back to blaming game, which I thought that was a waste of time. PDP, Peter Obi went into politics. Yeah, I know you're a politician, Peter Obi, but you should sell yourself for why you had 1 minute to tell us the reason why we should vote for you. Okay, don't tell us the things that we already know. So Peter Obi didn't sell himself well in the closing statement. Sorry. The YPP, oh my God. So she's, well, I'll be honest with you. She was very brief. And she went straight to the point. Though she went back to selling her presidential candidate instead of herself. So she went back to selling her presidential candidate. Anyway, in total, my conclusion about this whole thing, why I understand why people thought it was a waste of time. I'll agree with them. But I would say look at it this way. Don't take it as a waste of time. Take it as you already know what's on the table, right? All the information you need on the table to make that informed decision who you're going to vote for is already there. So you can see from from this vice presidential candidate. I hope the presidential candidate himself, when doing their own debate, they will add all the presidential aspirant into the next political debate, which is going to be. I really hope that Showrunner will be included. Donald Duke will be included. All the other political candidates will be included in it. If not, I challenge the other TV stations to host a debate just for them, because we have the right to listen to them as well. All Nigerians have the right to listen to all the presidential candidates and all the vice presidential candidates, be what party or what platform they are running off. If you might like them, you might not like them, they do have the right to be in that political debate, because we have the right to have all the information right in front of us to make that informed decision, so we'll know who we want to vote for. So excluding them does not make any sense. It makes the other candidates standing up there, not very, how do I say, I'm trying to look for a word not to put them in a bad form, but however, to make them not give them that legitimacy they demand, they deserve, because they have the right, to put their policy next to the policy of the other candidates, to put their to make their point next to the points of the other candidates, so we are able to see what we have right in front of us. So excluding the other political candidate or the other presidential candidate out of this debate, I thought was a failure. It just made the whole process. How do I say? It just made the whole process. It did not legitimize the whole process, I have to say, because be it whether you like the political candidate and the presidential candidate or not, he has the right to sell his points from the same platform you're giving other political candidate, other presidential candidate as well. So whoever that is going to organize the next presidential candidate, I hope you will include all the presidential candidates. I hope you include all of them, whether you like them or whether you don't like them, because if not, it will not legitimize that debate. Okay, so because they have the right to be there and tell us what they need to do, and we have the right to listen to all of them next to each other, so we're able to evaluate them and evaluate who we want to vote for. Okay, so at the end of in a nutshell, the vice presidential debate was a flop in my judgment. It was. Nobody sold themselves to me. I wasn't convinced. If the election is tomorrow, I'm still not convinced who I'm going to vote for, because no one actually told me exactly what they are going to do. They were all over the place, so nobody told me what they are going to do. I was more disappointed in Peter Obi and Oshibanjo. Because these are the two candidates, to be honest, a lot of people are paying attention to. So I expected more from Peter Obi, to be honest. And there was something Peter Obi said when he was asked about falling out with his president, with the president. He said something which I thought that's kind of does not make any sense. So when they asked him how he's going to deal with it if he start falling out with his president, he said, after going about the place, he said, if you're doing the right thing, you will not fall out with anyone. I thought that's a very wrong statement. Peter Obi being a politician, having ruled a state in Nigeria, he has to know that if you're doing the right thing in Nigeria, you'll become the enemy of a lot of people. You'll fall out with so many people. So that statement he said alone, that if you're doing the right thing, you will not fall out with anyone. So I thought that was a false statement. That was a false statement. So that he wasn't very honest about it. So that's why I was a bit disappointed with him. I was a bit disappointed in him. And Oshibanjo wasn't able to sell whatever they are doing. Is it because he knows that what they are doing presently now is not working? That's why he's not able to sell it? Or he's just not sure how to sell them? I don't know. But I was so disappointed in both of them. The other candidates, like I said, they are fresh, they are new, so it's very easy for them to stumble. It's not easy for them, for someone to, I've made speech in front of 300 people. I know how difficult it was. There was a lot of times I couldn't, I had everything written down. Sometimes I couldn't even pass them along because, that stage fright was there, right? So what I had to do was I had to, I went back to my office. I had to type back my points and send it to everyone individually, because I knew that my points were not passed across properly. Why? Because of, I was a bit scared. That fight was there, so I wasn't convinced, I was not impressed with myself. So I had to go back and send about 300 and something people individual message, just to stretch my points again, to make sure they actually understood what I was trying to say. I mean, it's easier because, I have all the people, I have them on a database. I just send one email and it goes to all of them. So I wasn't sending them individually like that. No, it wasn't that way. However, so anyway, like I said, this vice presidential candidate, nobody sold anything to me. Nobody sold themselves to me. Nobody convinced me. Am I going to vote am I going to vote for any of them at the moment? No, because I'm not convinced. I'm really sorry. I'm not convinced. I hope the presidential candidate debate is not going to be the same. I hope the presidential candidates will bring their A game to the debate. Okay, to be able to articulate their points properly. And also the people organizing this debate, and I hope if they are the one that will organize the presidential debate, to legitimize that debate, you need to add all presidential candidates to that debate. All of them. Do not omit any of them. If not, it will delegitimize the debate. The debate is not going to have that, it's not going to have that trust that it deserves. So just to legitimize that debate, you need to add everyone. Whether you like them, whether you don't like them. That is why it's called debate. Okay, they have that right to be there, and we have that right to listen to them, all of them next to each other, so we're able to evaluate them and make our informed decision. Okay? Anyway, like I said, I do apologize. From the beginning, I thought this was going to be a short video, but like I said, no. There was so much to talk about. So I'm really sorry that I cut 30 minutes of your day off. I really do apologize. And like I said, I hope the next political debate, I will listen to it and I will let you know what I think about it. Okay? Thank you very much and have a lovely day. Bye.